Got my car running this morning, so I hope my voice is loud enough because it's kind of cold to me out this morning. But at any rate, I just want to take a few minutes to speak with you guys this morning before I get out to start my morning prayer walk here at the church. Listen, yesterday was really probably horrible for me health-wise, and as some of you guys know, I've been having some battles, which I won't go into details here because I've talked about it a few times here on Facebook, and there is one or two videos on my YouTube channel, Deaidre, DEAIDRE1, where I go into a little discussion about my health issues. I think there's actually a playlist that have the word health in it. It might have LBGT and health issues or something like that. But at any rate, but in those videos on my YouTube, I don't state specifically what my health issues are. There is one video on Facebook where God put it in my spirit to speak exactly what my health issues are. So some of y'all must have been asking, but it's not in a video that's specifically on that topic. I was talking about something else, and that just came in my spirit, and I spoke on it at that given time. But at any rate, y'all know I kind of get easy sidetracked when I'm speaking. But what I want to talk to y'all about this morning is, yesterday was really rough for me for the most part, and despite prayer, it got better at the end of the day when I really got frustrated with my circumstances, the way I was feeling. And I had to have a conversation with God. And after having that conversation with God and my ministry partner prayed over me again, I did start seeing the difference. So not putting the blame on God. God is doing work in me and my mindset sometimes when it comes to my health. Because when you have health issues, as long as I've had health issues, it becomes like almost a part of you. And then when you meet God, you have an encounter with God, and God is trying to get you to see and operate and function a way a kingdom citizen should function. Sometimes it takes the mind a while to catch up, and that's why a lot of us don't get the physical healing that we want right off the bat, because God has to deal with this first. And for some of us, and I guess I was one of them, I know I was one of them, it takes a minute to transform this mindset so that I can receive the blessings and promises that God gives us in His Word. You feel what I'm saying? Anyway, I missed last Monday out here for prayer walk because of health issues. And I was determined that I wasn't going to miss today. But I was questioning whether I was going to miss today because of how horrible I felt yesterday. But God had to start dealing with my mind. It's always this mind, guys. This mind of ours a lot of times refuses to think like kingdom citizens, as God has outlined in His Word. And with that being said, we really need to take a look. That's why this scripture is coming to my mind, so I'll share this one. I'll take it from this standpoint, that direction I was going to go. 1 Corinthians, either 1st or 2nd Corinthians. I always get the book mixed up without looking at it, and I don't want to take the time this morning to really look it up to confirm it, so y'all confirm it. It's either 1st or 2nd Corinthians 13:5 encourages us to examine ourselves. Now it goes into a specific reason why it's encouraging us, but I'm gonna take it in a different direction. And we have to examine ourselves when we are struggling with different things, especially things that are hindering us to fulfill the purpose of God. For example, just now, this is what is interesting. Just before I felt really bad yesterday, just a few days earlier, God had given me specific instructions, which I had shared with my ministry partner. And the instruction was I needed to increase the number of days that I was doing my prayer walk out in the community. And then he gave me specific locations he wanted me to go. So on Mondays, I'm always here at the church, not unless something prevents me from being here. Other obligations or whatever, or things outside of my control. Then God added this past week, he says, I also want you to do Wednesday, start back going out in my community, because I've gotten away praying in my community. When we first moved here, that's where my focus was. But I've since coming out here to the church, I've been coming out here for a minute now. I don't know how long, but I haven't been going out into my community walk. So now he wants me Monday here at the church, Wednesday within my community where I live, the subdivision where I live, and then Thursday he's given me a specific area in this community, Clover, here, South Carolina, that he wants me to walk, which is in the downtown area. He's going to give me different locations every Thursday where he wants me to go to spend some time praying over specific things in the community that he's bringing to my attention. Now, it is interested that as soon as I share that with my minister partner, I failed to probably cover myself appropriately, or we failed to cover myself appropriately to make sure Satan didn't come in and weasel his way to cause some conflict. And a few days shortly after that, I started feeling just horrible. And then, yes, like I said, yesterday was my worst day. Why? Because Satan did not want me to start this week on track according to God's will. He's always playing interference, guys. Always. And if we're not on our guard, if we don't have the mindset of the kingdom, we'll fall in his traps. I could have fallen in the trap and said, oh, woe is me. I just feel horrible. Since I feel horrible today, I'm not going out tomorrow. And already set myself up for failure for this week. But that's not the plans of the Lord. We have to really fight for the things that God has called us to do. Whether it's fighting for the souls of people, which is basically why I'm out here every Monday, praying over my church. Why God is calling me back into my community, because there's a family, particularly, that comes over my house every now and then to tell me about problems that she's having. And Felicia, a lot of times it's just me, but the last time that this individual came over to my house, Felicia and I both prayed with this individual. There are things, since I've moved myself out of the community and praying at other location, there's things that are starting to come up in my community that is senseless. So now God needs to move my spirit back into my own community so that I can deal with those things in the spirit. You see what I'm saying? So I'm fighting for my community to stay wholesome, as well as for the souls in that community. And now God is calling me out into the whole entire population of my community here in Clover, because now he says, now I want you to go to the downtown area. And there's specific things evidently God's want to deal with in the spirit in the downtown area. And all it takes is one, guys. One. Now, the more brothers and sisters that come together, say, for instance, here in the church or in my community or downtown, as a collective voices praying together, physically praying together, the more power and the more we can accomplish, and the quickly those things can be accomplished. But my desire is to win over souls in this community. And to win over souls, that means I have to sacrifice my time, my comfort, and be in the place that God needs me to be so I can appropriately pray for individuals. So what is God calling you to? And whatever he's calling you to, are you just sitting at home and praying as different things come in your spirit as they may? Or are you going into the place, into the territories, to fight for those, to fight for your community, to fight for souls? that God is calling us to fight for, guys. Everything can't be done in the comforts of our homes. It just cannot. It just cannot. When we read the scriptures, the apostles, and even Jesus himself, they went out. In fact, Jesus sent them out in twos. Why? Because they needed to be among the people in order to visually, one, to be seen, visually, two, to be heard, and so that the power that God has blessed them with, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Holy Spirit that was upon them, that they can lay their hands on the people, pray with the people, in order to see lives transform, the community transform. You see? But we as a church have gotten so comfortable with our beautiful brick buildings and worshiping, praising in them among ourselves, or building our private prayer rooms in our homes and praying. And then there's nothing wrong with that. All those things are needed. But God has called us out to go. Matthew 28, I think it's in verses 19, 20. Go. That was the key word in those verses. Go and make disciples. Meaning we have to physically get out of our comfort spaces and go somewhere. Go to the place that God is calling us to be a witness, to preach the gospel, to preach the good news to the people. And this week, God has changed my assignment to where he's telling me, go. Continue to go to your church on Monday. But now I also need you to go around in your community again. Start that back again on Wednesday. Go on Thursday to the downtown area, and I will show you every Thursday where I need you to go, to walk, to preach. And I'm not necessarily meaning preaching to different individuals, but I'm preaching the gospel into the atmosphere, because it's the atmosphere that needs to change. You could change the atmosphere, then eventually people's hearts are going to be affected. Then the church doors have to open more wider to the community at large. But you got to be in your community. You got to be among the people. We can't accomplish everything behind our church buildings or in our prayer rooms in our homes. We got to hear from God and tell me where you want to go. You see what I'm saying? I hope what I have spoken this morning have been such encouragement to someone out there, some of y'all, that inspire y'all to really listen to the voice of God and then heed it, but listen for instructions, specific instructions, so that you can really make a difference in people's lives. And not just, like I said, thinking you're making a difference by showing up at church every Sunday or praying only in your prayer closet or your prayer room in your homes, but physically really giving up your time, sacrificing your time, and go to where the people are. Go into their communities. And it's not necessary that you have to interact with someone every time you go, but you're going there to shift the atmosphere so that God can create opportunities. I've had the privilege, and I've mentioned this to y'all before on a few posts of mine in the past. I have had opportunities where I end up in different places, restaurants and doctor's offices and other places in my community. And I didn't go there for the purpose of preaching to someone. But a lot of these areas where I end up being able to preach the gospel to someone is because I've already been in the area before praying, shifting the atmosphere, which opens up opportunities for me to speak the gospel to people who really needs to hear it. I mean, everybody needs to hear it, but not everybody's going to be receptive to it. But those in their most dying time, when they need it the most, God will position you before them to give them a word, because you've already worked the territory. Your spirit is already there. You've already shifted the atmosphere, and God will put you something in your spirit to be in a place that you've already have been praying in that place, because a particular soul needs to hear from you, needs to hear the gospel, needs to know about Christ. So family, as you continue to serve our Father, look at widening out. Even if you just start in your community, just walk up and down the street one time. Prayer, God has taught me, prayer does not have to be this long, drawn out 8-10 hours of, oh my God, I just need. No. There are days when I come out here at the church and I just sit in my car, and all I can do, because maybe time schedule or just the way I feel, all I can do is 15-20 minutes. But I was here, and I dealt with the atmosphere within that time frame. There's time frame when I'm out here more than an hour. It's whatever God needs and whatever he gives me the strength when I'm not at my best, that I come out here and pray. Because I now understand. I mean, it's been a minute since I've learned this, but I understand that it's important to deal with the spirit realm, the atmosphere, before you can really touch people's hearts with the gospel, with the truth. We got to come out to churches. We got to come out our homes and get into our communities and find a spot that God is calling you to and start your prayer walk there, even if you do it alone. I've been doing this alone, and like I have told y'all before, every now and then, one of my ministry partners will come out here with me to pray. My son-in-law has been out here with me here at the church. I'm pretty sure if I just asked my daughter, she would come, and I just keep failing to ask her to come out here with me, and I got to do that. Stop needing to delay and do that. My minister partner Felicia's been out here with me, and I need to also bring my grandkids out here with me to pray when they have time off from school. But the point is, start somewhere, guys. Right there in your own community. Get out of your house, get out of your prayer room, go into your community. Walk, do a prayer walk, and it doesn't have to be long and extended, and start dealing with the atmosphere that we live in, that you live in. We have to shift the atmosphere with the glory of God through our words. We need to go, as Matthew 28 verses 19-20 says. We need to go and make disciples. In going and make disciples, we need to deal with the spirit realm, the atmosphere. All right, guys. So let me get going so I can get my day going. Guys, I feel so much better than what I was feeling yesterday. I mean, I literally feel horrible. But again, God has to deal with our minds. We got to start thinking like the kingdom citizens that we are. I shouldn't have been laying up around that house as long as I did. Because sometimes that mindset of mine reverts, and then it takes me a minute to remind myself who I am. And that's a daughter of God, a kingdom citizen of his kingdom. All right? And as a kingdom citizen of his kingdom, I'm out here doing his work this morning. And Wednesday, I will be doing his work in my community where I live. And then Thursday, I will be doing his work in the downtown area. Praying, shifting this atmosphere, so that not only this church, but any other church that are of God, because not all churches are of God, that any church in this community or surrounding or neighboring community that is of God, their houses be jam-packed. But for that to occur, the atmosphere, the spiritual atmosphere must be dealt with, and that requires us getting out there and praying. All right, deuces. As always, I love you guys. stay in God's will, whatever that will is for you. And I'll be talking with you guys soon. Peace.